And the next president of the United States.
Can predict Donald Trump will be the 47th president of the United States, winning what had been expected, of course, to be a razor-tight and historic race, and it has been just
It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for our climate.
Well, I don't think Donald Trump's a good person. I'm only basing that on everything I've ever been taught about what makes someone good or bad.
All Americans can agree it's going to be a rough Thanksgiving.
I was walking around proudly wearing my I voted sticker. Today, I wore my I am questioning my fundamental belief in the goodness of humanity sticker. We're a comedy show. We see what people say and what they do, and the jokes come between those two angles.
Terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for the truth.
Donald Trump has won the 2024 election, and he'll be president again for 4 more years, or 8, or 12, or whatever. Let's go. And I promise, yeah, let's go. Look, if a former leader of the free world is going to show up to my city for a court appearance, we're going to mention it. People often say to me, come on, part of you has got to want Trump to win. No one tells the guy who cleans the bathroom, wow, you must love it when someone has explosive diarrhea. There's so much material for you to work with. But we can take comfort in knowing that we've been here before. We know what's coming. After a bizarre and vicious campaign fueled by a desperate need not to go to jail, Donald Trump has won the 2024 election.
Yep, Trump could be the first president to be under White House arrest.
Half the country woke up feeling depressed, angry, and scared. The other half was very excited. That is democracy, and that is okay. Feel those feelings today. But please, for the love of God, don't give up. You matter, and so do all the issues that made you vote in the first place.
Experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
On November 6, 2024, in one of the most unexpected turnarounds in American political history, Donald Trump reclaimed the White House, defeating Kamala Harris and securing a triumphant return to power. What led to this historic comeback? The answer lies in the perfect storm of economic woes, cultural divides, and shifting voter demographics that reshaped the electoral landscape. At the heart of Trump's victory was a widespread sense of economic dissatisfaction. The Biden administration had overseen significant job growth and infrastructure projects, but for millions of Americans, the gains were overshadowed by persistent inflation and rising costs. Prices at the grocery store and gas pump hit hard, leaving voters feeling the pinch. Exit polls revealed that 75% of voters believed the country was heading in the wrong economic direction. This sentiment became Trump's most potent tool. He promised tax cuts, deregulation, and a resurgence of American manufacturing, a message that resonated deeply with voters in swing states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin.
Donald Trump wins North Carolina and Georgia. The vice president cannot win this race if she loses Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, Michigan,
Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania.
North Carolina and Georgia.
A lot of red on that map.
I don't think she can do it.
But it wasn't just the economy that swayed voters. Immigration and border security surged as defining issues. Trump's hardline stance on illegal immigration, calls for mass deportations, and promises to complete the border wall galvanized a significant portion of the electorate. In 2024, immigration was 5 times more important to voters than it was just 4 years prior. Trump's approach spoke directly to working-class communities worried about job competition and strained public services. Perhaps most surprising was Trump's success in making inroads with non-white voting blocs. Support among Latino voters, especially men, reached new heights. This shift was key in battleground states like Florida, Arizona, and Georgia. Cultural polarization further fueled Trump's victory. In recent years, progressive movements advocating for LGBTQ rights, gender inclusivity, and social justice sparked intense debates. Many Americans, especially conservative and evangelical voters, felt their values were under siege by what they perceived as an overreaching woke culture. Trump's rhetoric on protecting children, parental rights, and religious freedom resonated deeply, drawing support from suburban and rural voters who felt increasingly marginalized.
2.7% of the vote.
Trump's up 3.2 points. State
West Virginia, not a very big surprise there.
Vice President Harris has taken the electoral votes for New York. Not a big surprise there.
So far, no surprises on the board.
Meanwhile, Kamala Harris, the first female vice president and a history-making candidate, struggled to capture the same energy that propelled Joe Biden to victory in 2020. Her campaign's focus on social issues like abortion rights and racial justice, while significant, failed to address the pressing economic concerns of many voters.
He intends to cut Social Security and Medicare He intends to surrender our fight against the climate crisis, and he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
According to political analyst Harris faced an uphill battle convincing swing voters and moderates that her vision would stabilize the economy and bridge the cultural divide. This, coupled with a dip in voter turnout among key Democratic demographics, was a major setback. Voter enthusiasm in urban Democratic strongholds waned. The decline was particularly stark among African American and younger voters in places like Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Atlanta, cities that had been instrumental in the Democratic win of 2020. This lower turnout, coupled with Trump's increased support in these communities, reshaped the electoral map.
Results from Pennsylvania.
73% if you round up for Vice President Harris, 27% for Donald Trump.
To former President Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is the projected winner in the state of Georgia.
This is a big win.
In the immortal words of Bob Dylan, you don't have to be a weatherman to know which way the wind is blowing.
If we can describe the start of this night as having the vibe of a wedding, it is slowly morphing into what feels more closer to possibly a
Donald
funeral.
Trump has won the state of Wisconsin, which means he is the winner of this race.
He is now the second president in U.S. history to win non-consecutive terms.
The changing demographics of Trump's coalition were striking. His campaign attracted working-class voters across racial lines, building a more diverse base than many expected. Economic messages, promises of job creation, and his tough stance on immigration resonated with groups traditionally leaning Democratic. According to political expert, this realignment didn't happen overnight, but Trump's pivot to targeting these communities with specific economic and cultural messaging paid off. In the end, Trump's 2024 victory underscored a nation deeply divided, grappling with complex cultural, economic, and demographic shifts. As the country moves forward, the challenges are clear for both parties. Can they bridge the divides and forge a path toward unity, or will America continue on its polarized trajectory? The 2024 election was more than a contest of candidates, it was a reflection of a nation at a crossroads.
Down, America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.